All right, so should I give everyone a minute or two to hop in or start up? Sure. That's good feedback. All right, well, you know what, my little thing, oh, now it's starting to tick. I got a little timer up there, so I guess I'll start. Hey everybody, my name's Mark Schonagel. I work for Unity Technologies as a product evangelist. I'm based out of Los Angeles, but I basically spend about 300 nights in a hotel, so I don't really know where I live. Small disclaimer, I flew in from Germany into Los Angeles yesterday morning and then flew, and that was delayed, and then flew in here last night. So if I forget where I am, just bear with me. I'm a little jet laggy, but anyway, it should be good. So what we're going to talk about today is Unity services. Just kind of an overview of that, some of the neat stuff that Unity does to make your life hopefully a lot easier and hopefully lets you make some good money. So we're all here to play games, but if you're doing that for a living, you're probably here to make a little cash too. So we'll definitely talk about that. I'm going to start off and just play our, well, it's 2015 showcase reel. I'm only halfway through 2016, so I haven't gotten the new one yet. But anyway, this is just to look at some of the cool games that were made with Unity. Yeah, so I'll just play for a second and then we'll talk some more. Love that game. Gang beast with a 6-pack of beer is a very fun evening, unless you have friends and more. Cool, not bad, huh? One of the things I like so much about Unity is just the diversity of the games. We're not really just great at one particular genre, as I think that kind of shows. Just a quick show of hands. How many of you are, I don't know, would you say new to Unity? None. Oh, 2 over there. All right, perfect. How many of you are programmers? Artists? Gamers? People that shouldn't be here? No one. Okay, good. Good. All right, so I'm going to tell you just a little bit about Unity for those of you that are new, and then we're going to dive into the editor. I'm going to talk about, talk about services, and then show you some stuff in the actual engine. So for those of you that don't know, Unity is a cross-platform game engine. We support 25 engines right now, or 24 platforms right now. BlackBerry, poor little BlackBerry is going to go away, or I think it's already gone, and HoloLens is up there now, so I have to update my slide. But anyway, so we support a lot of different platforms, which is kind of a challenge to keep all that current, but thankfully we have some good engineers back in Copenhagen who take care of that for us. We actually have 19 offices. There's 980 employees right now, which is pretty amazing. 2.5 years ago when I joined, it was half that number. So we're definitely growing. There's plenty of jobs out there on the job board if you're interested, so check that out too. Lots of developers. Right now we're just hitting the 5 million registered developers mark, which is amazing. So if you're using Unity, you have questions, go on the forums, ask the community. The community is amazing. They'll always be happy to answer your questions. If our support team doesn't, or you don't have support, whichever. We're an industry tool, so we're used for a lot more than just video games. I think you'll see us for simulations. Oculus says 90% of all the Gear VR experiences are done with Unity. It's like 60% of all the Oculus Rift experiences. So VR is another great thing that we're going after. So, but we are really here to talk about services. So we're not going to talk about all of those because I just don't have enough time for that. But we do have a lot of very unique and interesting services that we offer at Unity. Most of these are available in the free version as well. For those of you that don't know, we have a free version, we have a pro version. Some other new versions have just come out, which you can read about. But essentially, our services are Unity Ads, Analytics, Certification, which is more of a skill test, Cloud Build, which we also won't talk about, but that basically allows you to build your games, your experiences in the cloud, not use your own hardware and waste your own time and bandwidth. Collaborate, which is just coming out. Everyplay, which we'll talk a little bit about. Multiplayer, which is brand new for us, came out a few months ago, which allows you to do all of your networking and matchmaking with hosts and all that good stuff, which I'm going to do a workshop here in town on Thursday, but we won't be talking about that today. And then performance reporting, which we'll also maybe chat about a little bit. So some of the ones we are going to talk about today, the biggest one is probably ads and analytics. So ads are how you guys can make some money. One of the bummers about our industry, and I'm not sure whose great idea it was, but we decided to come up with free games on mobile. And that was kind of a bummer because everyone wanted to get their games out there, but no one wanted to pay for them. So how are you going to make money when you're charging nothing for your games? Well, you're either doing in-app purchases or you're throwing ads in there. Either one of those is really the only way, unless you just feel like giving out your work, which is fine too. But the problem is 97% of all the people out there don't pay for a game, which is definitely an interesting issue that we have in our industry. It's not quite that way on the console, on the PC side, but certainly on the mobile side. One of, I think, the best examples of ads to be used creatively, cleverly, and effectively is Crossy Roads. How many of you have played Crossy Roads? All right, cool. Crossy Roads is great. It's mindless. It's something to do at the grocery store when you're standing in line or whatever, right? Quick, endless fun. But they did this. They added this little tiny button right there, which plays you an advertisement, which will gain you 100 coins. You can gain 100 coins in the game. Takes you a couple hours to collect all those as you're walking around, or just watch a little 15-second ad, and suddenly you've got 100 coins. And guess what? Those guys made, I don't know, like 0.7 cents or something like that, and Unity made a little bit of cash on that as well. So every time somebody clicked on that game, someone made a little bit of money, and a lot of people were playing this game. So suddenly, kind of overnight, these guys became millionaires. And I don't know exactly how many millions they made, but they have made millions and millions and millions of dollars just by people clicking that little button. And the nice thing about that little button, it was never in your face. You never saw an ad at the bottom of the screen that annoyed you. It was always, hey, you want a little treat, you want to get past this level faster, you want to get this extra character, watch the video ad. And I think that's the best way of doing it, and I'm going to show you how you actually integrate all that into a game. But it's just not in someone's face. It really bothers me when you're playing a game or you download some weather app and you got all these stupid ads to look at. Someone's got to make money, but there should be and there could be better ways of doing it. So Unity, we have our own ad network. It's called Unity Ads, and essentially they are full screen, game relevant ads only. You're not going to see ads for something like Depends Undergarments or something like that, which I've actually seen once on that little weather app. Which, who wants to see that, right? You're playing a game, I want to see game relevant ads if I'm even going to see an ad. So all of the Unity ads are game relevant, which is, again, a good thing. Analytics. Analytics are very, very important. They allow you to know exactly what people are doing in your game, how they're doing it, why they're doing it, and it goes way beyond just who's playing it, when they're playing it, how they're playing it. You can put in your own custom variables in there, your own custom attributes, and really figure out exactly what's going on. This screenshot right here looks a little bit interesting because it has all these green and red and yellow, orange squares on it. Those squares aren't just artwork. Those are actually, that's a heat map. That's showing you where some sort of an event took place and the quantity of events that actually took place at that. So I got a little video. Oh, I got a video coming up soon. Oh yeah, video's not yet. Video's coming. So when we talk about analytics, there's 4 primary sections of that. We have our core analytics, our Unity IAP, which is in-app purchases. Those are those things where you can buy, spend $1 here, spend some coin there, get some new armies, get something, whatever. Then there's raw data export, which allows you to basically export the data, visualize it any way you want, pump it into Excel, throw it into a spreadsheet, into a database, and take it off of our hands and do something else with it. And then there's heat maps, and I'll talk more about heat maps as we get to it. As far as core analytics, you get something like this. That's your dashboard, shows you how many people are playing it, where they're spending their money, how they're spending it. You can see your oh, you don't see my mouse. I can see my mouse. Oh, yeah, it is. You can see how many people are playing it. Hey, look, people are playing, more and more people are playing your game every day. Or you can see that, hey, less people are playing my game. I better do some advertising, better do some things. All sorts of cool information is out there for analytics. Again, things like active players, number of sessions, retention, revenue. This dude has made $16 with his game. So that right there will get you a burger. So that's a good day's work for Fruit Slasher, whatever that is. I don't know what that is. Yeah, so again, that guy, there's a shot of, hey, the game launched and now things are going well and you can really start to see that pickup. These are updated about twice a day. I do have a slight bit of a bummer. My project that I want to show you today, I kind of forgot about that. So my heat maps are a little bit boring because I don't have a lot of data collected, but I'll show you that in a little bit. You can even see day-night kind of cycles going along, which is pretty interesting. So in-app purchases. We have a whole set of API, a whole bunch of tools that makes this really, really easy. There's a lot of complexity with in-app purchases, which I'll talk about once I'm actually in the editor showing it to you. But we support all of the major platforms for in-app purchases. Each one of those vendors has their own API, their own back-end structure, which you don't have to deal with at all. You just say, this is my product, this is what I want to buy, and we take care of all the hard work. We keep all that up to date for you, so you don't have to make charts like that, which I don't even know what that means, but I don't think it's a chart we want to make. So let's move on from there. Yeah, these guys right there. So if you see, where's mouse? There it is. All these guys right there, those are the different in-app purchasing stores that we support right now. This list will grow. I think Samsung wants to get in there as well. And as these other stores start to appear, we'll support their back end to make it a nice, easy experience for you to pop those into your game. Heat maps. This is where I want to show you a little video. So heat maps does that. It gains insight into game-specific spatial events. Sounds very exciting. Really just allows you to collect more data than just who's playing it and why they're playing it. It allows you to figure out where people are dying on your levels, where people are spending the most time on your level. Why aren't people going over there? Maybe there's some weird blocker that's getting in their way. And heat maps will show you all that. And I'll just let, this next one illustrate that. Here we go. This is obviously a game called Dragonflight. And
Unity Analytics introduces heat maps. Heat maps are a visualization of spatial events. Where do players die? Where do they score kills? Which roads are the most traveled in your game? By collecting the data from hundreds of thousands of players, you can begin to assemble a large-scale picture of how your players experience your game. The patterns that emerge can help you tune the game and improve things like game economy, difficulty curve, or player fun. Sign up for Unity Analytics today at analytics.unity3d.com.
Yeah, do that. That was super simple. This is the game we're going to look at today. This is the heat map for it. It's just a little left-right game where stuff is dropping down from you. That's what it should look like. Unfortunately, 3 weeks have passed since I last ran it. And I went on vacation, and now it sort of has no data in it, so it's kind of boring looking. So I got an older one that looks a little better, but we'll talk about that when we get to it. Lastly, on the services side, we have Everyplay. Everyplay allows you to record your screen, record what people are doing in your game, and then actually dump that out to like a Facebook for your game type of a website that we have at unity.com. So it's really just a way for you to promote your game, to get it out there without having to spend any money. It's perfectly free. Some of these things go viral, you know, some great gameplay. And it does record your screen. So that dude there with the happy face and the red dot, that's him actually playing the game. So all of that gets added if you want it as well. This is the one for Crossy Roads. Again, as I mentioned, it makes like a Facebook style page like we see there. And there you go. So lastly, check out the blogs. We have a lot of information, a lot of good information. Our developers are not really required, but our developers are really good about writing blogs. Blogs on best practices, blogs on all sorts of good stuff. So that's it for PowerPoint, which is great because I hate PowerPoint. Now I'm going to show you the Unity editor. However, if you stick around, I'll show you that code, and someone in here can win a free Unity Pro license or a subscription for a year or a ticket to Unite. So that's later. But for now, let's go actually into the Unity editor and take a look at a little game that just shows you how you integrate these different analytics inside of your project. So this is my little game that we have, and it's a very simple game. It's just really designed to just show you the basics of in-app purchases, of analytics, how it all works. So actually, first let me reset my score and all that good stuff. Now the reason my screen turns blue or purple when I press play, that's just to let me know I'm in play mode. It's a nice thing to know. And I'm just going to go here, touch my screen. And it says, okay, pick a character. Now notice I can't pick this character. This character is currently locked out. I can pick this character, and from there I'm able to go and avoid the bombs. Well, geez, really? Let me try that again. I was actually going to try to not die immediately, but obviously I'm not very good. Anyway, so bombs are falling. Gee, okay, you know what? That's just fine. That's how that game's going to work. I'm not very good at it. So I obviously need to make some in-app purchases to maybe boost up my confidence or maybe just boost up my army. So I have a couple little buttons right here. Again, this is designed to be very basic just to give you a taste of how this all works. So we have a button here for an ad. If I click this one, it'll play a Unity ad. If I click this one, it'll make an in-app purchase. This is going to show Everyplay, and this is going to just restart our level. So first, let's go ahead and do an in-app purchase. So I'm going to click on Add, and if I do this right, this blue screen should come up. Because we're in the editor right now, it's not actually going to fetch an ad and play it. If I had compiled this for an Android, iOS, whatever platform, this would then be showing me an ad right now. And as long as it says things seem to be working here in the editor, that means it's made a valid connection. This is actually all live right now. I'm connected to the internet, it's connected to Unity servers, and I'm now going to get, I should have, 10 more coins. So there it is. My awesome skills allowed me to collect 1, and then I watched the ad. I got 10, watch another ad, and now I've got 20 coins. So that's sort of how you can use ads to, I haven't shown you the code or how that actually works yet, but that's the functionality here in this game. For in-app purchases, I can click on this. It's all right, you know what? I want to buy a new hero. This hero right here doesn't have any amount of coin associated with it. It could be, okay, you can't buy it until you have 100 coins or 200 coins, whichever, the Crossy Roads method, but that's currently just a couple lines of code that's not in here. But I can unlock the hero. And when I do that, this is now slightly grayed out, so I can no longer fetch that character. That's now been done. The server recognizes that. Or I can go here and start to buy some coin. Now this is all legitimate what's happening right now. It just looks like that number is just increasing, but really it's actually talking to the Unity server. It's saying, hey, this happened. Send back an OK code that yes, their transaction went through and pay. Because I'm in the editor, we're not going to see the dialog that pops up that says, hey, you're logged into Google Play. Do you want to give this or do you want to, you know, that little dialog that pops up that says everything's good. Same with iOS, whatever. That only is going to pop up when you're actually running on the target device. But if it actually does what it does and you see the result happen, actually you can see here in my console it'll echo commands that say it was successful. If it does that, then you know you're good to go. And there you go. So how do we set all this stuff up? It's actually fairly straightforward. First, we want to click on our magical cloud icon. The magical cloud icon brings up your services tab. Now, normally, when you first start off a project, all of these say off, and you have to register your project. Registering your project just basically tells the Unity services servers that this project is now alive, you're working on it, it's not turned on for prime time, but at least it's on, and you can now start to communicate with our servers. And that goes for all of these different services that we're going to talk about. We won't talk about all of them, we won't talk about cloud build or multiplayer, but we do have some other ones. So if I click on ads, there's not a whole lot that comes up with this particular tab. One thing you want to make sure that you do is while you are building your game, just make sure you're in test mode. It's just better. It's gonna, you won't charge yourself money essentially. Hey, look, I just bought $5 of my own ads. Great, thanks. Code samples. There's some good code samples in there. which I'll show you those as well when we actually look at the code in my game. But let's actually go back and take a look at some of the other ones. We have analytics, in-app purchasing. Let's take a look at analytics. So when I click on analytics, it's telling me blah, 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 blah. How about I just go to the dashboard? Cool, let's go to the dashboard, and that is going to fire up our analytics. Now, come on. Oh, geez, we need internet. This is critical. Okay, phew. That's not good. Okay, so this is our little game. It's called Movie Dude, and basically once you start up, you're given a bunch of prompts here as to how to get your game going. You can do all these yourselves, but it's going to show you exactly what to do. Open your services window, make sure that your IDs match. That's just going to make sure that your ID on your project matches what the Unity servers have. 99% of the time, that's going to be all set up fine. What to do if it's not, and then enable analytics. And then once that's done, you should be good to go. It's going to say play to validate, and I've already done this, so this is all good current data. That's telling me that, yeah, I made a couple transactions. I had an ad reward transaction. I had a heat map for my player death, and I also had, I thought I had some other ones in here. Oh, they must have been the last ones I did. This kind of concept, oh, there we go, ad reward. I watched an ad and I actually went through it and successfully watched it. So this is just letting me know that it's working. You don't really do anything with this data. It's just letting you see that the console basically got that data correctly. If we go here to Event Manager, this will start to show me some of the custom events. Now, by default, analytics is going to keep track of your active users, how long they were using, where they're from, the basic stuff that you would expect. But you can also embed your own analytics in there. You can embed your own variables, your own strings, anything that you want the software to do. Just tell it, hey, where you die, mark that location. Where you spawn, mark that location. Every 2 seconds, just give me a placeholder, a cookie crumb of where that player went. You map thousands of players on there, and you get a really good idea of how people are playing your game. It's actually pretty cool to watch. These are all of the custom commands that we've created, custom attributes that we've created for this little basic game. Even as basic as it is, did they watch the ads all the way through? What character did they select? Did they click on in-app purchases? How many coins did they collect? Did they start the game? All these little triggers that we put in there, just because why not? We can do it. It's easy. If we then go to configure, there's one important thing about configure. When you're generating heat maps, you need this string right there, which is basically going to allow you to fetch that heat map. That's under configure, and when you do this the first time, you'll have to answer a few more questions in there, like your age and stuff like that for some legal reason, whatever. And then the first tab actually is probably the most important, although in this example, just because I've been out for a while, there's not a whole lot of data logged. So let's go and just increase our date range to maybe like, let's go to say March. And we can now see a bit more information. So this game never made it out to the wild. This is just a little internal project. So at most we had 7 people playing it a day. And the only thing I'm looking at here is my monthly active users. I could go here into my Data Explorer, and I could start to look at some other things. Here we're still looking at daily users, but I could say, you know what, give me a custom event. I don't want daily active users on there anymore. I want to see how many people collected a coin. Cool. That's how many people collected a coin. So that was me last night trying to populate some data. But let's go back a few months. Let's go back to say March 1st and take a look. And there we go. So here we had a maximum of 3 players are playing my game. Holy cow, 3 people in the whole world are playing my game on one day. That's pretty awesome. And this is just showing me the number of people who collected a coin, unique users, not how many coins they collected. I could switch this tab here to the number of events, the number of times they did it, and we should see a refresh that shows, hey look, here on this day, 36 coins were collected in my game. And obviously this looks a lot more exciting when you have a real project. So just to show you, there is live on the Unity website, there is a sample project which you can look at yourself, which looks something like this. Shows you, a lot more realistic data. You can tear through this if you want. I've only got a few more minutes left, and I definitely want to show you more stuff in the editor. So that's just the sample project there. Anyway, what do we do once we're in the editor? How does all this stuff work? Well, I'm just going to show you just a couple things here. The first one is on my UI canvas, I have, what the heck noise was that? I have this button here. So this is my add button. In my game, when someone pushes the add button, let's just go ahead and do it real quick. Let's be grandma this time. Hey, granny. Hey, I caught a coin. Hooray. Okay, now she's dead. Poor granny. So when I push this button right here, it's going to do this right there. So I'm going to stop that. And what is it saying to do? Well, basically I have a class, and my class is my game over controller, and inside of that I have a function called show rewarded add. So I want to take a look at what that code is and just kind of walk you through a little bit of that. So here's my class game over controller. Funny joke outside. And if we zoom in a little bit, all this stuff up here is kind of not so important to what we're looking at. And I'm not doing with Everyplay. What am I looking for? Where was that at? There we go, show rewarded add. Okay, so this is the function that's called when I push the button in that UI. First it's going to check, is the ad system ready? Are you talking to Unity? Is everything good? Yes, it is. Okay. And if that's the case, we're going to do a result callback for the handle showed result. And all that means is we're going to say, there's three possible outcomes that could have happened from someone clicking on that button. Did they watch my ad, did they skip my ad, or did the ad fail? So that's what the callback is going to return, is whether they did that or not, where they went. And so once we get that result, we're going to say, all right, well, if they finished the ad, if show result was finished, then we're going to say, okay, the ad was successfully shown in the debug log, so we know that's happening. And then we're going to take their score and we're going to give them plus 10, because that's the reward for watching an ad, 10 coins. Then we're going to update the score string so everything looks good, and there we go. That's all good. Then we're also going to create a custom analytics event. So that was that list of things that I showed you were custom, and I actually showed you the different coins that were collected. It's just that little bit of code right there. It says, hey, you know what? To create this custom event, this custom thing inside of analytics, and keep track of it, and fire this variable at it. Do that. If they skip the ad, well, the ad was skipped, and that's what's going to get logged in the debugger. You're not going to get any coin. You're not going to get anything else. Boom, we're going right back to where we were. And if it failed, well, we're going to get the log that it was failed, and the same thing. We're just going to get kicked back and returned. So that's how easy it is to basically get that ad to show, and also to get that ad to make sure it was rewarded video. Now, if I just wanted to show an ad, I didn't care if it went through, I didn't care if they made money on it or not, this is really all the code you need. So it's really simple. It's only when you start to do error checking, when you start to get a little bit more elaborate with it and make sure it's actually going to make sense in your game, that you start to have to add some of this other code. But essentially, that's what's going to play your advertisement. Just show me an ad, and it just does it. And there you go. And hopefully you made a little bit of money. All right, so that's that. When we get to in-app purchases, they're a little bit more complicated. So for in-app purchases, we had another button there. And that other little button said you want to gain 100 points. Let me show you that again really quick. This time we'll use Granny again. We'll just make her die straight away. Poor girl. So now, when we do in-app purchases, we can buy a new character or we can buy some coin. Now this is a little bit different. Coins are consumable. That's actually a term that we use with the system. So a consumable item is something that you use then in the game to do something with. So I could take those 100 coins, I could consume them and buy a new character. The character is non-consumable. So Granny is non-consumable. I don't do anything with her after I buy. That sounds weird. I don't do anything with her after I buy her. No, so I just use that. It's in my game, and that's that, right? I'm not exchanging her for any sort of some special thing. So that's the difference between consumable and non-consumable. And then there's also one third type called subscriptions. Subscriptions are just that. Is it a subscription that every month you have to pay a reoccurring fee to use that tool? So anyway, inside of our game here, I have two buttons. One of them is this button right there, and one of them is this button right there. I could have labeled those a little bit clearer, but one of those is for coin, the consumable, and one of those is for Granny, the non-consumable. So inside of there, we have another class called, what is that class called? Is that purchaser? Yeah, and by product ID is what we're going to call. So let's go ahead and take a look at that code as well. I don't want to bore you too much with code, but we'll take a look at some of it. Now this looks a little bit daunting right here. All of this stuff right here comes straight out of the documentation. And what this basically says, and this takes care of a lot of hard work for you. Every single one of those stores, the Windows Store, the Apple Store, the Android Store, they all have very different back ends, how they communicate. We don't want you to have to deal with any of that syntax. Every single one of those stores requires different handshakes, different ways of communicating. What we we've done is made that really simple. All you have to do is tell us what stores you're using, and are you using consumable, non-consumable, or subscription, and then create the store identifier. Now, right now we're using test identifiers, which is what you should be using when you're just testing your game. Once you sign up to be on the iOS store, to be on the Android store, they will then give you the proper things to fill in there to make sure it actually works. But then everything else after that we take care of. So we take care of the hard part of that process. You just got to fill in the blank. So this just sets up where we're able to go and see if these things are available at. Are these products available on the store? Once that happens, what am I looking for here? Now I'm blinded by the light. Here, okay. So the next thing we want to do is create a builder. A builder is basically going to be like populating our shopping cart. But we have to first make sure that A, the shopping cart item is there and that it's available at that store. It's just technicalities, but you have to do it. So this basically checks to make sure, hey, is that item available at Google? Hey, you're available. We're playing that game. Cool. I want to buy that item. Once you've set up all that, your store is essentially open for business, and you just need to use that command right there, Unity Purchasing Installation, and tell us what you want to buy. Once that happens, now the magic starts up. A little bit more code here, and shoot, I only have 12 seconds left, so shoot, you know what? This guy, that's not the one I'm looking for. This one right here. So a few more things happen, just a few little checks, a few little error corrections, things like that. And then we have this guy right there, mStore controller initiate purchase. Once that command gets executed, that's it. That's when that dialog pops up that shows you the Google logo, asks for your password, shows your little credit card information. Do you want to get that or not? You hit yes. If everything goes good, then we get passed down further down the code to all that stuff is Apple fail-safe above that. I could have stripped this down a little bit. But then here we have all of our other stuff. Okay, so if that was good, then purchase was passed. It returns an OK value, and then we add, $100 to the score. We increase that on their actual score indicator, and all is good. Or we unlock the character, or we unlock those coins, and there you go. So I don't want to talk about code too much. Hopefully that was explained a little bit. If your coder is great, hopefully you get that. If you're not, well, do a little research. All of this stuff is on the web, in the help sheets and on the docs, so you should be good to go with that. I'm going to pop that URL up really, really quick and give you all an opportunity to win a free license of Unity. So just go to this URL. It is case sensitive, so take a picture of it, whatever. I'll leave that up for about 30 seconds, and yeah, you can either win a ticket to Unite, or you can win a 12-month subscription to Unity Pro. So there you go. That went by faster than I thought. Thank you all. Are there any questions, by the way?
Any questions? Hello?
Hello? Okay, I have to use my very quiet voice. Gentleman there with the wristband. Do you want this? I'll give you this mic. Look at that. Hold you the mic, boy.
Where would you suggest finding great Unity developers?
Well, there's good news and bad news. There's 5 million of them out there. The problem is most of them are all picked up. The best way that I know of finding developers is going to user groups. Go to meetup.com and just search for Unity 3D. They're all over the place. I do probably about a user group every other week, and there's almost all of them have people looking for jobs or offering jobs. We're going to start something really, really soon at unity.com, which is basically a job. Probably letting the cat out of the bag a little bit, but we want to try to empower artists and coders to get themselves out there as well. And I wouldn't call it a job board, but we want to recognize some of our users that way, and hopefully they help them get picked up. Yeah, it's a good question. There's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of people looking for them too. But meetup.com is how I would go. Actually, you know what? Check the Unity website. Do a search for Unity user groups, and all of the major user groups are listed. And there's definitely one here in town. So check that out. And if you haven't, I'm going to go for 30 more seconds. If you haven't seen this, go to YouTube and check out the Atom demo. I'm going to skip forward just a little bit, but this is the latest demo that our team in Stockholm have created, and it's just amazing. It's beautiful. It's stunning. It's all in real time, all on just the 970. It's pretty crazy. So anyway, I'm over, so I gotta go. Thank you all very much.